Hi there, I'm Carolina.
And I'm Gabriel.
And together we run the Simply Together blog.
Yeah, and we just wanted to share a bit more of our story with you guys and tell you about the Rebuild Your Relationship course we have here.
So, Gabriel and I met at a party over 9 years ago. We immediately discovered that we had the hots for each other.
Yeah, and 1 or 2 months later, we were officially dating, and everything seemed pretty much perfect.
In the beginning, Gabriel made a lot of effort to really impress me. He'd plan elaborate dates, surprise trips, he'd cook for me. It was all so sweet. And I was falling for him really hard.
But then I messed things up, didn't I?
We both did. Unfortunately, things didn't continue the way I thought they would. Already 6 months in, we were fighting a ton. We had different ideas for our future.
Yeah, it's like we didn't seem to want or care about the same things anymore.
Yeah, and this also led you to stopping all of your extra efforts, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I eventually things became so bad I just wanted to break up because I couldn't see a way out of our problems. But the reality was we couldn't stand being apart for very long, and we got back together shortly after.
And then we broke up again, and again, and then again. This
Yeah.
actually happened 3 times. It took us 3 breakups before we finally figured out what we were doing wrong with our relationship. So if you're struggling in your relationship right now, then you know the pain of it all. If you two spend too much time fighting, not getting the love and attention from him that you hope for, if you're making the effort to fix your relationship, looking for solutions to your problems, you're doing everything in your power to get your man to step up his game too, but you're just not getting any of the results that you hope for. If you're feeling frustrated and alone, like he doesn't appreciate you the way you want him to, then you should know this was my experience too. And there is a way out of it.
Yeah, I sound like a really great guy. But yeah, once things started going badly in our relationship, I lost the drive and will to make an effort the way I used to.
Yeah, we both did. It's unfortunately the path a lot of relationships take once the problems start and tend to continue piling up.
And it wasn't until Carolina started approaching me differently that things started to actually change.
Yeah, we really managed to turn our relationship around. Now we hardly fight anymore. We go on dates all the time, we travel, we do fun activities together. Gabriel actually openly expresses his appreciation for me and gets me little gifts and flowers. The other day, he went to the grocery store and got me all my favorite things I kept forgetting to get. And it was so thoughtful. I was really touched that he remembered about all of it.
That's sweet of you to say. And what's more is that it actually turned out that we did want or care about the same things, but we just kept on talking past each other back then.
Yeah. Now, you have your own personal story, and you two are struggling with some of your own problems in your relationship right now. Maybe the chemistry with your man is fading, or you feel like he doesn't care and remains distant no matter what. Or maybe your relationship feels stuck, like you're not getting what you want. It might even feel boring and predictable to you. Whatever the pain of your relationship is, let me reassure you, it doesn't have to be this way. There is a way out.
Yeah, and that's why we created this course, the Rebuild Your Relationship course. We used our own experiences as well as things we've learned from working with other couples, and we put together a step by step method anyone can apply so that they too can get the same results in their relationship. We learned from our pain, our mistakes, and failures, and used it to create a method you can apply in your own relationship. And now I want to give you a sneak peek into the course so you can see it for yourself. So, guys, before we dive into the actual course, let's get an overview of what you actually get in it. So, as you know, it's called Rebuild Your Relationship, and the reason we made this was to help you bring back the love, stability, and connection with your man when the chemistry is fading and you're growing apart, right? That's the purpose of all of this. So let's take a look at the 5 parts. The course is structured in 5 parts and what you get inside of them. So we start off with the Rebuild Your Relationship framework. Now, this part is all about foundations. You'll learn where things go wrong in relationships, the strategy for a happy relationship, and the reality of how change actually works in a relationship. This is a really important part because it gives you a solid foundation, right? You don't want to build your relationship like a house of cards where the smallest thing can just, even if you're in a long-term relationship, send it all crumbling down. So with this, you get a very solid basis from which you can build up upon. It's something we think should be taught in schools or somewhere at least, because nobody really teaches you relationships, right? So it's very important, and that's why we start with this. Then we've got part 2. This is Stop the Chasing Game. So it's about trying to see whether you are chasing him, how it's a common pitfall actually, and why chasing doesn't work. You don't actually, it might be the case for you that you feel like you need to sacrifice your needs in your relationship to make things work. And we're going to show you how that's not true. Actually, the opposite is necessary in many ways, and that it's more about balancing a power dynamic. So we dive into that in detail in part 2. So it's followed by part 3, getting him to care again. So in this, we talk about setting boundaries with him and how to get him to take you seriously, right? You might be in a situation where you feel like you're putting a lot of effort in your relationship and are like the glue that keeps it all together, and that your man is a bit more laid back or doesn't even care at times. And so we're going to talk about how to make him care again. And that actually has a lot to do, you might, like, ironically, with setting boundaries rather than coming his way more, right? Now, in part 4, we're talking about tackling relationship problems. This is a big one, right? Because every relationship has problems, no matter how perfect they might look on the outside. Carolina and I do fight from time to time, but we know how to figure things out quickly and effectively. And we fight way less than we used to, thanks to all of these things we've learned. So one of those aspects is the cycle of relationship problems. That's what we talk about, how problems, you might even find it in your own relationship, it's incredibly common that problems just tend to repeat. It's like the same topics over and over again in a different, let's say, different outfits, right? They might come out in different contexts, but it's still the same underlying issue, the same fight you have. And we talk about how you can actually simplify relationship problems. And once you've simplified them, the strategies and tools you need to fix them, to solve these problems, so that they aren't constantly repeating and draining you and taking out all the fun of your relationship, right? And you'll also learn the ultimate tool to rebuild your relationship, which is something we teach that you can universally apply to any relationship problem you have. And finally, in part 5, we're talking about restoring love and attraction, right? This is what it's all about. This is why you're doing all the work. This is why we're talking about all these other things in the chapters. You want to get back to feeling connected, to not feeling alone and distant from each other. So here we'll go into how removing the bad actually makes room for the good, and the importance of healing old wounds and how to do so. All of this, right, all these parts, 1 through to 5, build up on each other. They're become progressively more advanced, and part 5 builds on part 4, and 4 on 3, and so on. So that when you get to part 5, you're ready to really restore bring back, the honeymoon phase, how things must have been when you first got together. The sparks were flying, the excitement was there was a thrill, right? And you wanted to spend all this time together. This is about bringing it all together and restoring that love and attraction for yourself. So what you actually get is 5 parts with 18 chapters. They're all in video training format, and we've got Carolina, who guides you through the best ways to deal with common relationship problems, pains, and she gives you the insider's perspective for women, right? Like I'm a guy. I get women to some degree, but she's the real expert here. She knows what it's like to be in a woman's shoes. So she approaches it from that angle and gives you solutions to common problems. Whereas I share the secret insider perspective of men, and I teach you how to approach your man so that he responds in the way you need him to. So you have both of us here covering all the ground. Now, the course comes with a lot of helpful graphics and downloadable PDFs. Both Caroline and I really appreciate how much visuals can help convey information. We really put a lot of time and effort into this course to break things down into a very simple, concise, in a concise manner, so that all of this information can be very clear and very easy to follow and understand. That was very important to us. So here's the course curriculum. As you can see, it's packed with goodies. There's a lot of ground we cover here, everything you need to know. And right, that brings us to bonuses. We heard you like bonuses. Who doesn't like bonuses? So bonus number 1 is identify your relationship problems. So we heard a lot from you guys that you find it difficult to sometimes even know where to start with your relationship problems because they're just so overwhelming. And here's a simple guide to get you started, give you clarity in identifying the most pressing issues and what you can do about them. Then you get the ultimate guide to space and relationship breaks. Every couple has this whole needing space thing at some point or another. Sometimes it's one side, sometimes it's both sides. But we're really going to go through with you in this guide to identify the different types of relationship breaks, how long they generally take, and a foolproof way of how to deal with each and every one of them. And bonus number 3 is our private community support. So in this group, you'll be able to ask questions about the course, discuss strategies to tackle any relationship problems you have, and get the additional help you need. So if you're feeling ready, you can get started now. Just click the Enroll in Course button. Otherwise, stick with me. I am going to go into a couple of questions here. So who's the Rebuild Your Relationship course for? So primarily, it's obviously for women who are in a relationship, right? If you're in a serious relationship with your man and you're trying to deal with typical issues women face in long-term relationships, or you're even engaged or married, then this course is for you. It's also for women who have recently broken up with their partner but want to give it another shot, right? Caroline and I, as you might know, have been through multiple breakups ourselves within our relationship, and it took us multiple times to actually figure things out. So what we teach here is as applicable to you if you've recently broken up with your partner. So it's for people who actually want to change their relationship. If you're longing for things to go back to how they were at the beginning with him, like regain that initial spark, the excitement, right, all that good juice, then you're in the right place here. It's also for women interested in creating the relationship they want and learning the tools that will allow that to happen, right? We have a very pragmatic approach to all this. Like relationship advice in general can sometimes feel a bit wishy-washy or not very clear. We really want to keep things grounded, give you fundamental tools you can use to solve very real relationship problems. Now, it's also for busy women. We know many of you have full-time jobs, maybe you're even juggling kids and other responsibilities. So we really broke the course down to make it bite-sized chunks. You can take one at a time that build on each other. And you can do so on the go, on your phone, on your laptop, whatever suits you best. Now, who is Rebuild Your Relationship course not for? So people who expect transformation with little effort. Now, I have to say this because buying the course in and of itself won't change your life. You do need to put in the time and effort in your relationship to make it work. Having said that, if you actually do so, the time, energy, and effort you save in the long run is vast. Just like putting this off and not actually dealing with relationship problems is not going to they're not going to magically solve themselves at some point. So putting the time in and effort now is better than putting it off later, right? So we encourage you to do so. It's also not for women who are single or in early dating stages, right? Just to make that clear. Like if you're just started dating, then there's little information in the course that will apply to your situation. Here we have a little section about us. And here are a couple of further questions. Who's the course made for, right? Like we said, designed for women of all ages and long-term relationships, or also even newer relationships. If you're married, is this course a good fit for you? Absolutely. Like we said, the topics we cover are just as relevant, and the tools we teach are just as effective for people in marriages. They're just as applicable here. Doesn't my partner need to participate to make this work? Good question. Nope, he actually doesn't, because we do focus on independently empowering women to create the change you want in your relationship. So whether your partner is directly participating or not is actually not relevant. Which leads us to, why am I doing all the work? What about him? Another good question. And honestly, it sucks, but the reality of how this works is, once you're doing this work, once you're applying what we're teaching, he'll actually be compelled to step up his game and be involved. He might not be aware of it, but he's actually going to be participating. You're actually going to be involved in him. So will this course work for you if you're in a long-distance relationship? Absolutely. The tools and principles we teach will deepen your emotional connection with your man, and they're just as relevant for you. In long-term relationships, it can even be more relevant because since you often lack the physical aspect for longer periods, the communication skills, connecting with each other, all those things take precedence. So they're very important, and you'll benefit a ton here. So how long will you have access to the course? Is there a time limit? So you get lifetime access to the course. There's absolutely no pressure to complete it within a limited time, and you can go at your own pace and whenever it's convenient for you. And also, when we update the course in future, you get any additional new content we add to it. Can you access the course content on your phone or tablet? Yes, you can, absolutely. On any device of your choice, whether it's Windows, Samsung phone, a iPhone, MacBook, it doesn't matter. It's available online for you on any device. What format is the course in? It's in video content, text, and printable slides. How you learn it is entirely up to you. The focus is the video content, but if you do better with printing out, take notes and stuff, you're absolutely free to do so. Do you offer any refunds or guarantees? Yes, we do. We're so confident you'll love our product that we offer 30 days of full unlimited access, and if you're not happy with it, you can email us within the 30 days for a full refund. Having said that, we do ask that you study the material, put in the time and effort, put in the work, and if it's really still not working for you, despite everything, then just to put that out there, you do need to really try that. Is your credit card secure? Absolutely is. So we take your security very seriously. That's why the billing takes place via Stripe. which is a 128-bit SSL encryption and has anti-fraud tools to run alongside payment APIs to block fraudulent transactions, which is tech speak for it is very secure. So you really can rest at ease with that. So if you have any other questions, you can contact us here. And when you're feeling ready, just click the Enroll in Course button, which will take you to the checkout page here. This is what it looks like. Here you have your order summary, right? Rebuild your relationship. This is the form to fill out. You just add your email, your name. Here you can insert your payment information. The billing address is down here, and you can just click the buy button. So once you've done that, you get an email and you'll get access to the course. Now, when you first get to the course, it looks like this. You've got your Rebuild Your Relationship, an overview of the course curriculum, and yeah, let's just have a little look here. So we can start with thank you from Carolina and I here for purchasing the course. Do be sure to join the private support group. There's a button, click this link here. And yeah, we have all the parts we discussed, right? And the chapters within those parts alongside. So let's just take a look at one or two of these. So this is where things go wrong in relationships. It's hosted by Carolina. And looks like this, right? We've got a chapter overview. We talk about the topics that we're gonna discuss here. Like I said, we have a lot of helpful visuals. We really appreciate trying to convey this information as clearly as possible, break it all down for you guys. And at the end of every chapter, we have a helpful summary. This is what it looks like, right? And if you scroll down, you have the same thing in PDF format. So you can also download and print these out if that's how you like to work. Let's have a look at another one. Part 4, tackling relationship problems, the cycle of relationship problems, for example. This one's hosted by myself, yours truly. And yeah, so we start with an overview again. Chapter overview, what needs are in a relationship, why relationship problems happen, and what the cycle of relationship problems is. So here we have a helpful chart where we break down all the needs in relationships. And here we talk more about the relationship, the cycle of relationship problems, how that works, how to break it down, become more aware of it, step out of it. It's all here. So yeah, as you can see, there's a lot going on here. We really put a lot of time and effort into this to make it as good as possible and help you guys reach your relationship goals, step out of those patterns and cycles and restore the love and connection again. So whenever you're feeling ready, just click the Enroll in Course button and you'll get access to this course, everything in it, anything that's coming in the future, our updates, all the bonuses are down here too. And we look forward to seeing you there. All right, guys, catch you then.